I'm going to show you a couple of different layout tools I like to use. I always have on hand a caliper, and one of the ways that we can measure exactly the width of my border, other than using the tried and true ruler, is to use a tool like this. And it's pretty simple. If you take and just move the caliper to the width of whatever you're measuring, you can lock it down, and what this does is this gives you actually three places where you can take the measurement from. You can take it, of course, from here, from these 2 points here, and also on the bottom. So if I go like this, I'm going to see the exact bottom of it. I'm going to have exactly what the width of that is. And of course, I can transfer this to my workpiece. So you can see how that would work. This tool also has a scale. And what this scale allows you to do is, with the markings here, it will allow you to measure both inside and outside diameters. For example, if I take and move the tool onto this piece of pipe, I can now read the width of the pipe, or the diameter of the pipe, on the scale. It's marked here, in and out. I could also take the inside measurement. Let me loosen this up a bit. I could also take the inside measurement by putting it inside the pipe, pulling it out, and reading on the scale what the inside measurement is. This is helpful, of course, if you want to go to a hardware store and buy a piece of pipe or something to fit, or measuring screw holes, whatever. But that's how this caliper works, and it's a very handy little tool.
This is a Wixey Digital Calipers with fractions. It has the same measuring surface as the previous one, plus digital measuring. Turn it on and you can choose either inches or millimeters with this end button. After zeroing with the center button, the caliper is ready to measure. After taking your measurement, you may switch between metric and standard readouts. Using metric makes it much easier to make calculations. For example, by dividing my metric reading by 2, I can easily adjust to find the center of the board. I can measure the difference in the width of these two boards by first setting the caliper to the width of one board, pressing 0, and then setting it to the width of the second board. You will easily see the difference in the digital readout. Should your battery go dead, you can also take manual readings from the scale. By the way, this scale is much better than the cheap stamped one on the previous tool. Also, a fractional readout will show on the right-hand side of the rule up to a 64th accuracy. We here see a 3/64th reading. And here is a 3/32nd reading. You may purchase this tool from my Amazon store at www.budmanproductions.com.
You can also use what we call combination square and measure precisely what the width of that is. And what you can do with this is lay it on your workpiece with a pencil on the edge and simply go like this with it. Another tool that I like to use on occasion is this marking wheel. Again, what we do is we take the wheel, loosen the screw, and we can come up to the very edge, lock down our screw. You can actually take this and go along the edge, and it will scribe a line. This is a marking gauge I picked up at a flea market. You set the gauge up so the screw is right on the part that the width. You can lock the gauge down, and this will do basically the same thing as our wheel gauge did. I kind of like this a little bit better than the wheel gauge, but it'll actually scribe a mark for you. So that's a pretty cheap tool you can get. They're all over the flea markets and the antique malls, and they're worth every cent you would pay for one of them. Some rulers do not start at dead zero, like this one for example. It has this little 1/8 inch difference between zero, or where you would start your measurement, to the end of the ruler. A ruler to make dead flat measurements starting from zero would be like this one. So I could take this ruler and put it up against something, and I could measure from 0 to 1 inch. If you don't have a ruler that starts at dead zero, you can always rely on your combination square, because that's built the same way that this ruler is. It starts at dead zero on this end.